Welcome, friends, families, and loved ones. And thank you for all of your support in helping the HBS class of 2016 reach this moment. I'm Anya Hayden.
And I'm Brad Minkow. It has been a privilege to serve as your Student Association co-presidents over the last year. And we are thrilled to speak before you here today. And to show our gratitude, we promise to keep our remarks brief because, as they say, it's best to leave your audience before your audience leaves you.
Absolutely. So let's jump in with what it is we've exactly been up to here for the past 2 years.
And it hasn't just been hanging out with Will Whiston of Section G.
Or the unbeatable Section E. This concludes our charity auction shout-outs. No, since day one at HBS, we have been asked two very big questions. What do you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? And how will you be a leader who makes a difference in the world? One or two of us are still working on our answers, but continue to work on we will, because it is no small thing to be here today. I spent January of my first year working with a company in Vietnam through our field program. After getting to know each other a bit, our local guide told us, what you should know about my culture is that we believe in 3 kinds of karma. He paused after the first 2 and then said, the third kind of karma is that if you are very good in this life, you will come back in the next life as something very special. I hope to come back in my next life as a Harvard Business School student. We're so lucky to be here. We're so lucky to have this school, this community as part of our lives. And, as my mother would say, to whom much is given, much is expected.
As Anya alluded to, we have a program here called the Portrait Project. And graduating students answer one question. Oh, what is it you will do with your one wild and precious life? A handful of these responses are then shared with incoming students on the very first day of their first year. And I remember going through this exercise myself. There was one portrait in particular that stood out, and it read, "We have a duty to not let graduating from Harvard be the greatest accomplishment of our lives." But if I ask myself, as I stand here today, is graduating from HBS the greatest accomplishment of my life to date? I would have to say yes. And that's not because HBS is the end, no. It's because this is just the beginning of a journey to do remarkable things in a world that truly needs help. And our graduation is the boarding pass to finally get started. For no matter who we were or where we came from prior to matriculating, we leave here tomorrow with this incredible platform and mission to actually influence the world. Not many people have that privilege, but we do. And so it's not a matter of if we will make a difference in the world, it's a matter of how. And the how, well, that's really up to you, our graduates. But we ask that you please do something. We did not come to Harvard to be ordinary. We came here to be extraordinary. And the most extraordinary thing we can do is to serve a mission greater than ourselves. And in doing so, that's how we can look back one day and say, no, graduating from HBS was not the greatest accomplishment of our lives.
We want to emphasize that point. There is no one right path to accomplishment. There's just your path to what you believe matters. There is no race to a finish line, there's just your journey. As part of our final HBS send-off, we were gifted with pages and pages of advice from alums. Reading on the same Spangler lawn they knew so well, I reached page 14. Male, class of 2002, married or domestic partner, has children, New York, New York. The prompt reads,
how would you reflect on your experience? What changes would you make if you could?
I assume that, like any good HBS case protagonist, he first stares pensively out the window and then answers, I would not mind taking a slower path to success. Many HBS grads aim for achievement and progress, partner or CEO, fund launch, billion-dollar exit as quickly as possible. But happiness doesn't come from achieving goals as quickly as possible. He describes Clint Eastwood, who achieved his biggest awards and box office hits in his 70s and 80s, versus young stars who quickly faded away. He continues, "Many people know that they should make decisions for the long term, but very few people actually do. I realize more and more that having a 25 or even 50-year time horizon would have changed my decision-making for the better regarding what to learn, what type of work to prioritize, and how to allocate time to family, health, work, and the day-to-day context." So, what would you do differently? What decisions would you make differently if you were living life for quality over speed? If you weren't gunning for your destination as quickly as possible, but instead every day were pulling ahead as best spouse or parent, coworker or boss, volunteer or friend. Because if we are actually living for quality over speed, the journey itself promises to be at least as sweet as the destination ever could be.
Exactly. And we are well on our way, graduates. The road ahead may be long, the obstacles unknown, which can be especially scary for a bunch of type A individuals who love to plan. But we are on our way. And how can we know this? Well, for the past 2 years, Anya and I have had the good privilege to get to know so many of you. We have heard how lucky you feel to be here and that you understand the responsibilities that come with this. We have seen your extraordinary talents, and so we are confident that you will achieve things greater than graduating from Harvard. And we have experienced the way you live life toward quality, not speed. But perhaps you're still unconvinced, and that's okay, because we're about to show you. So to our fellow students, we ask that you please indulge us one final time and rise and remain standing, emphasis on the remain standing, if the following relates to you. And to our families, though we know you love us, please hold your applause until the very end. Okay. So please rise and remain standing if you served as a leader for your section, a club, or the student association.
If you are graduating with first or second year honors.
If you have donated your time, money, or energy to your passion.
If you've helped a friend in or out of the classroom.
If you've made the tough choice, the right choice, even when it was not the most convenient one.
Lastly, if you've pushed yourself for something that really mattered to you, even when no one was watching, please rise.
This is how we know. This is how we know this class will achieve many great things along a journey that promises to be just as rich. And this is the group that will be there by your side every step of the way.
This is friendship for a lifetime.
This is leadership for the future.
This
is the Harvard Business School class of 2016.